Introduction to Cloud Computing, MobileMe subscription. What if I told you, those of you out there that are saying, Chris, Google Apps and Zoho and some of these bigger things, I don't really need that much. I just need some basic cloud computing to help synchronize my contacts, my calendar, maybe have a place to dump some larger files, like up to 1 gigabyte in size, and then be able to maneuver them around. Maybe have a photo gallery. I'm not looking for something big. Then MobileMe is going to be the cloud computing solution for you. To kick it off, we're going to walk you through a little bit about how you can get started on subscribing to the MobileMe cloud service that's offered by Apple. Then we'll take a look at the mail, which is a really important one. Most people, when we think about cloud computing, and even our small companies here that we're going to be utilizing this, we're going to use mail. Also iDisk, how we can share files, large files, how much we can utilize, how we can build folders and utilize the storage out there. Then a very cool feature, finding my iPhone. I'll actually demonstrate this on mine. Now, if you don't have iPhones, well, maybe you might want to get some for your company. And the nice thing is that you can track up to 5 of these iPhones and be able to find them. You leave them on a plane or somewhere, and we'll show you how that's cool. And then we have iWeb and iCalendar, 2 other nice features for most small businesses that we'll take a look at when we crack open our MobileMe account. So to get started, let's remember that this product is put together by Apple, and really MobileMe is a subscription service. So that's why you see the word membership here. You're subscribing to it. And when you subscribe to the MobileMe cloud, as in fact you'll even see it uses the little cloud picture for it, you're going to have an opportunity to create, manage, or share information from any computer that's connected anywhere to the internet. Isn't that part of what cloud computing is all about, right? Well, with that, you can, of course, become a single subscriber, and as a single subscriber, you have the opportunity to get 20 gigabytes of combined file and email storage. Now, this is important that you remember this. Whether you get the 20 gigabytes, which is the standard issue, or you upgrade to 40 gigabytes or even up to 60 gigabytes, which is kind of cool. You just have to remember that's combined. So if you've got all these files that are hanging out in your email taking up 10 gigabytes, then you only really have 10 gigabytes on a standard membership that allows you to store files in your iDisk or pictures or anything else across the entire suite. So just remember, when you think 20, 40, or 60, they're actually talking about how much you have total for the whole suite. Now, with the membership, one of the cool things about the membership is the family pack. Now, the family pack, of course, is typically for family members that can then enjoy the benefits of the MobileMe. Now, if you get a family pack and you go ahead and get the standard one, you're going to get the 20 gigabytes. So you get 20 gigabytes, which is then broken down into 5 gigabytes per user, and you can have a total of 5 people utilizing it. So you have the main subscription or subscriber, and then you have 4 sub-accounts. Now, think about this. You don't need to, here, make sure I put that in there, users, for 5 users. So think about it. Just because it says family members, if you're paying for this, you can use it for a small business. If you got a small business, and that's probably the reason why you're checking out the cloud computing and to save some money, is get the family pack, and then of course you can upgrade that family pack up to the 40 or even 60 gigabytes. So that way you can then split that up even more. So that'll be kind of nice. So it just depends on how much space you're going to use. Now, when you're using MobileMe and you sign up, you are given automatically a 60-day free trial, and then after that they charge your credit card for a full year's membership. Now, prices will vary. I'm not going to put any prices up on the screen because as of 2010, when we are recording this, prices are set right now at $99 for a family pack starting at 20 gigabytes, and then you can pay up to another $99 for a upgrade to the 60 gigabytes. So, but those prices can change. So I'm not going to put any on the screen. You can just check out mobileme.com and they will give you that information. Now, to get the most out of your subscription, you want to make sure that you're using one of the recommended browsers. Now, the browsers that they recommend you use is, of course, their very own Safari, and they want 3.0 or higher. The other one is going to be Firefox, In fact, I'll demonstrate today in that as well. And that also is 3.0 and higher. Now, for those of you going, hey, we only use Internet Explorer. Okay, you can use Internet Explorer, and IE needs to be 7 or higher. And you do lose a few features and functionalities with that. So just so you know, put a big little asterisk here. Lose some features. So if that's a problem and you can't use Safari and Firefox, just realize if you do go with this, you are going to lose a little bit of the functionality. And trust me, you want the full functionality of this whole entire thing. So let's get started by logging in and seeing what we can do in the MobileMe subscription service. Now, I could have gone ahead and demonstrated this on my MacBook Pro because this is Apple's product, but I wanted to make sure that you all understood that it doesn't matter if you have a Windows machine running it on your PC or a Mac, you can run the MobileMe environment. Now, of course, I am going to demonstrate on the Mozilla's Firefox, but you can use Internet Explorer. Just understand you might lose a little bit of the functionality, and I mean, quite, you know, Firefox is a very secure, very good browser. I would recommend it. If you're using Safari on your Macs, just remember your Firefox and Safari need to be 3.0 or better. So let's get started and get you guys signed up here and show how this would work. So first thing we need to do is go to MobileMe.com, or you can also just go to www.me.com. And so it takes you into the login, and here is where, if you have your username and password, you would go ahead and log in here. And you can even keep yourself logged in for 2 weeks. I don't recommend doing that, and you know, try to educate your users not to do that, because if you step away and they leave their PCs running and someone just types in me.com, their stuff will come up and they'll be able to get in and see emails and do some other things. So just, you know, make that a security issue and just tell people don't keep yourself logged in. Now what we'll do is go ahead and sign up for a free trial. Now to do this, once you do that, it's a very simple procedure. I just want to show you how easy it is. Now if you went to an Apple store, and you can do this, and go or online and bought this, you can get a activation key and click here, and it'll automatically enter the key, and you can get started. Or you can sign up. Now what I wanted to do is we're going to try the CBT or the family pack. So I'm going to do Mr. CBT Nuggets. That's my desired member name, and then I'm going to put in a password here that will be top secret here. So now I've typed in my passwords there, so you guys can see that. Then, you know, your information, it's Chris Ward, and give myself an alternate, Mr. CBT Nuggets at gmail.com. You put in your country, you put in your language, and then down here they are going to ask you for some security information. Now I'm going to go ahead and pause this video because I am going to put in some information that I can remember, and I definitely don't want you guys in the next 60 days you know, retrieving my password. So I'll see you back here in just a second. Okay, so once I enter that information, it's going to say, here's your place where you enter the credit card that's going to be required to start the free trial. And after the trial ends, they will charge you the $99. And so again, you can, you know, put in your information. Down here, you will have to read. They'll show you the terms of service down here that you can read. And then down here, you of course will have to click and agree upon that. And then you can cancel the membership. So you need to make sure, if you are going to try this out and you don't want to have the dollars start racking up because you haven't done that. So, you know, do that. By the way, if you are outside the United States, $99 again is currently for 2010 in US dollars in the United States. In other countries, it can be more or maybe a little bit less. You can again click here actually, and it will take you to a separate site that will show you the pricing for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the billing information and get that set up, and I'll see you here in just a second, and we'll start utilizing our new MobileMe So as you can see, once you have created your account, done all that you need to do, they are going to give you your member name, which is, of course, Mr. CBT Nuggets, which I put, mrcbtnuggets@me.com. You can then log in, or you can continue to set up your thing. So we'll go ahead and click on Continue to Set Up and get rocking and rolling on that. Now, one thing that you will do is it will allow you to then set up your Mac or PC or even your iPhone or iPod Touch. Now, the reason why you want to do this, all your email, your contacts, and calendars on Mac will be able to go up if you have a Macintosh. Or you can also utilize it on your PC as well. You can sync your information up for that. So if we click on PC, it will then set up and go, all right, you need to get the latest software. Now, there is what is known as the MobileMe Control Panel Installer. Now, on Mac, just remember, gang, Mac, it's already built into your operating system. You don't need to do that. Here you are going to get the software that's necessary to download, and then you can then set up your email software, so that way, whatever it is, whether you want to use it on Outlook, and they give you instructions here for Outlook 2007, 2003, Express, and even just standard Windows Mail. And it's very easy, and so you can go in and set that up. So what we're going to do, though, is you do need to have the latest version of iTunes if you are going to sync up things like movies and pictures and some of those things. And then, of course, you're going to want to have the MobileMe control panel for Windows. So again, I'm going to pause. I'm going to then show you how that setup works, and then we'll get started with our account. So here we are in our MobileMe control panel, and what you're going to want to do is go ahead and sign in. So you can put in Mr. CBT Nuggets or whatever yours is, then the top secret password that you have. Click sign in, and at this point it will go, all right, now I'm going out making sure, number one, that you have a valid account and that the password is also valid, and if not, it'll just bark back at you and say, sorry, you don't have an account, or your password is incorrect. And so at that point you'll have to either check your password or check your account for that information. Okay, and so now it is signed us in, and as you can see, it tells you that you've been signed into MobileMe, Mr. CBT Nuggets. We got full member access. It tells you how long, and it will tell me that the account will expire in 60 days, unless, of course, it is charged on your credit card. And by the way, if you do not go in there and tell them to cancel, it will go ahead and automatically go on your credit card. So just FYI, give you that warning ahead of time. So now you'll notice that up here at the top, we've got the ability to sync. Now to sync, if you select on this, it is going to say what is it that you're going to want to sync. Now you can do it automatically. You can do it manually where you choose. You can have it every week, every day, every hour. You can do that just about any way, which way you want to do it. I think that probably every day would be a good way to do it, or if you're the kind of person that wants to check and make sure everything's okay before you do it, I would click manually. Now here's where you pull the information that you get. You can pull your contacts, you can pull from your calendars, and you can even pull from your bookmarks. And this is kind of fun because it says, well, you have Internet Explorer running, and why can't it pull from my Firefox? Well, that's because, again, the MobileMe is actually preferences. This control panel is actually a part of, and let me show you. Let me click on here, and I got it set up under my control panel. And check this out. Here it is. It's in my control panel. This is where you're going to find it and have access to it. So in your, at least in Vista, and then also in XP, it'll be located there. Now you do have advanced features that you can set up, and that is what is the name of the computer? Do you want to unregister this computer, reset the sync data, and which one it synchronizes to? Especially if you have like an iPhone and you're syncing certain data with that, and then it resyncs to MobileMe, and then it syncs to your computer. And again, that is something where you just want to make sure that the one copy that you have. Now you can show this in the system tray, which would then show up down here. It also can warn when you are going to change more than 5% of this computer's data would change by syncing up. You can do more than 25, more than 50, or any of the computer. And so that again is a an option that you can select any way that you want to. So that's when you can sync up these type of things, and so it will go ahead and sync up with that. And then of course there is iDisk. Now iDisk is going to allow you to have up to 10 gigabytes, because remember, you have your 10 gigabytes here, and then you have your 10 gigabytes over on the email side, so you're splitting the cost. Now of course you can upgrade the storage if you want, and it even tells you this is the iDisk public folder. So if someone wanted to come and try to grab something that's a public, and I'll probably go ahead and stick something up there if you do decide to go to this, you can allow people to read only, read and write, or you can even password protect your folder. And so I could type in a password here, and then everyone would need that password in order to get into my particular public folder. So even though it's public, you can set at least a very low level of security on that, which would be just a password protection for that. So we can see that this is all set up and ready to go, and all the things that we have here. And then of course you can open the MobileMe iDisk, which will then log in and do that. I'm going to go ahead and apply my settings that I have here. It's going to go ahead and do that for me. I click OK, and then boom, I'm back out to where I was. Now you might say, well, what have I done here? Well, now you're going to be able to go in and actually have the syncing of your calendar from your Outlook. So if you have Outlook set up and you have your calendars, it's going to sync up, and it's also going to sync up all those other things. So now let's go ahead and get logged in to our new Mr. CBT Nuggets, actually from the web browser, which is what you'll do. So I go www.mobileme. Remember last time we came in and we had it all set up, but now because I've already had the control panel log me in, I go to me.com, bada bing bada boom, here I am. And of course if you just go to mobileme.com and you log in with your username and password, it'll do the same thing and bring you here. Now we only have one piece of mail here. Get up and start enjoying MobileMe today. So it gives us the same instructions, tells you what your information is, so that's good. And then you can see that the mail interface is very similar to what you would see pretty much in any other mail interface. You have your navigation system over here. You have, of course, over here your listing of your emails, and then you have your preview pane down here. Over here are going to be your controls, and your controls can change depending on which one of the suite you are going to use. Here's your contacts. So if you click on contacts right now, I am not going to have any contacts because I haven't synced up to my Mac or my PC. But you can then, of course, add a contact if you want, and you click on that and put in a new group, or you can click actually on the contact itself and add a new one by simply clicking up here. So here, a group name, we could say CBT Nugget Instructors. Then I can click a new contact here, and then start using it and say James. And then over here, if you scroll on over it, allows you to say Conrad here. And so I'll just put James's information in here, scroll down here, and you can add fields if you want, like names, username. You can even put a picture in, whatever you want to do. It's enabling you to do this. And let me scroll over here, and then you can kind of see it off here to the side. It says to go ahead and save that. And so now I've saved James Conrad, and James Conrad is a part of the CBT Nugget Instructors. So again, this is another way where you can add contacts and now sync them up to my Outlook, and I could, of course, once I sync them, they would all appear here. Now here's your calendar. Your calendar is the same thing. It will then sync up to any events that you have, and you can split it. You can do your home, and you can do your work. You can add another calendar or a sub-calendar group. You can group together your work. Maybe you have 2 jobs that you do in 2 different workplaces. You can do that, or a new calendar under work, like some for personal and some for doctor's appointments. You can your mileage may vary. The sky's the limit. Do whatever you need to do. And again, you can see that you can make certain changes to whether you view it as a week, a day, or a month, And then some of the other options right here, you can add new events, to-dos, so you can have tasks that are set that can be imported and synced up. You can set up your preferences here, go to the date or a certain date, show the to-dos. If you show the to-dos, they now appear over here on the side. Of course, you can then hide the to-dos if you don't want to have them show up. So that is pretty straightforward. Now, the photo gallery is again another area you have to be careful with, because you can upload pictures and add all kinds of nifty things, and you can just go here and click and add a new album, and you want to allow people to download photos of the album. Do you want to allow people to use a web browser to add the pictures? Do you want to add the photos via email or iPhone? This is kind of cool if you do have that, so you can say all this and then show the photo titles and what email address you would use for uploading photos. You can even hide the album. Where does it sync with? Is it going to sync with iPhoto or Aperture? These are two programs that are going to be running on your Macs, so you can sync those up and do some fun things like that. So these are all things, and I can just say this is the CBT Nugget Pics. Once you've created that, you can then just click here to upload, and it will allow you to then go and go to your desktop or into one of your places and upload a certain picture or something like that. And then this is the gallery right there, gallery.me.com. You can kind of see it appear over here. Mr. CBT Nuggets, and then you put in the exact, whatever number that it assigns with it, which is a random generated number that they give to it. You can also upload here to pictures. You can set your preferences and the settings for the albums. You can delete an album. You can rotate pictures if you took a picture the different way and you want to rotate it. So you have some capabilities here that are kind of cool. You also have your settings here, which allow you to, when you have that as key photo. The key photo is the one that shows up as the picture of your full album. So you can do things like that. So this is another little neat option that comes with it called My Gallery, and you can upload the pics there. But here is our good friend MobileMe iDisk. And this is where we're going to take a look at the ability for us to not only back up information. These folders are typically set up for a Mac, but you can use them for your PC as well. And then, of course, public. You can literally put things in a public folder that then is available as the public.me.com Mr. CBT Nuggets that people can go to. Why is this important? Well, think about it. If you have huge files that you can't email, maybe literally a 5 gigabyte one, well, most of your Gmail and some of those will allow a certain amount, and so will your MobileMe mail, but sometimes they're just files that are too big, especially a video file or something like that. You can put it in a public folder, and then someone could literally go to public.me.com/MrCBT Nuggets, and then they're able to download that particular video from the public. You can also share files, which we'll show you here in just a second. But the public folder, again, is something. Now, remember, on this public folder, the settings that I have on this is that it is going to be a password protected. So you can, obviously make changes. You can open up a new public folder. You can create new folders. You can change your preferences on that for your iDisk, and there it is, password protect your public folder, which I have already done. So we set that up. So I can bring this up here and scroll down here, and you can then save your preferences, and you're going to be good to go. You can also allow visitors to make changes. That's that read-write capability when you're doing that. There again, you can show the simple folder layout, which will pull this down and make it real simple and easy. This is typically used in the OS X, iLife, and MobileMe. They're going to show you all those folders that are set up there. And again, if you have a Mac, great. And those are things you're going to recognize and be okay with. So we'll go ahead and click Save to that, and it'll drop back down, and we're good to go. So let's take a look at how we can now add a particular file here and make it public, and then actually how we can share the files using iDisk. So let's go ahead and we're going to upload a file. Now, you can't right now upload to the public folder because remember I said only read the file. So you can download them, but you're not going to be able to make some changes to this folder. So instead we'll go ahead back over here to the home, and of course I can open up the documents, and let's say I want to upload a document that I have. So I go over here and I click the upload a file or files, It opens up the choose files to upload to documents little folder here. It'll give you a little information about the folders or iWork documents, compress them first. And the reason why is because you can only have a file size, a single file size of 1 gigabyte. 1 gigabyte, so you want to watch out for that. So when you go in and just make sure that they're set. You can close the window when complete once you've chosen the files, and it'll kick out. In this case, we'll go ahead and hit choose, and here in my documents I have the procedures for my son's science fair project that we were working on the other day. And so we'll go ahead and click open. It'll say, all right, we've now uploaded this. Now we can add another if we want. Maybe I want to have not only the procedures, I want to have the materials for the science fair. So I click open. Boom, those 2 files are there. Now I can click done if I want. And now you'll notice here in the documents folder, I have materials for the science fair and procedures for the science fair. Now if I want to share these files out, or even maybe move them into the public folder to have people come out. Public folder, of course, people will go to the actual URL that we see. So if I click on this, it'll go to the URL. Shared files, you actually email a link to the file that then can be accessed. So it's kind of a little bit different there. So if we go back here to home, go to documents, I'll take one of the files, and you can take this and take this file and you can move it into the public if you want folder, or we won't do that. We'll go ahead and just go ahead and share the file. So we'll go ahead and share the file, and what it's going to do is going to say, who do you want to share this to? So I can say, well, I want to share this to Mr. CBT Nuggets at gmail.com. So we'll say, here is the science fair information you requested. Now check this out. I can password protect the file. I can say, and I'll say that the password is science, SCIENCE. So we have that set up, so you'll get to see that, and we'll say that the link will expire in 2 days. So that way, by the time this is recorded and up on the CBT Nuggets site, if you guys try to go, oh, I know where to go to get that. Nope, you can't. It's not going to be there anymore. So we have the link expires after 2 days, password protect the file, and it'll be science. So we go ahead and we click share. Now it goes through and it says, dun, da, 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 that it is shared. It says that it expires on this date at this time, 2 days from now, and here is the shared URL. Now I went ahead and emailed that to myself at my Gmail account. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Gmail account here, and let me scroll down here so you can see that I'm just going to gmail.google.com. And since I've already been over there, it'll probably just log me in automatically on the same thing. And look at that. Here it is, from me. So I click on it, and it's from me to me. Here's the science fair information you requested. Contact me for the password to access this file. So I would have to go ahead and either email it to them, or maybe they can call me, and I'll get it. So I'll go click download. It's going to come up and it's going to ask me for the password to get that. So remember, SCIENCE. Click download, and bada bing bada boom, you have chosen to open. So I can either open it with Microsoft Office. This is basically because I am using Windows. It'll automatically recognize. We'll go ahead and click save file, and it will then download it through, in this case, Firefox. It downloads it to the downloads folder, and there it is, procedures for science fair. So we have that set up and ready to go. So again, this was just something that I did where I went ahead and made this available, shared this file. Think about that. You can email a whole bunch of people and make this file available to them, and they can just go to their mail, click on it, link on it, boom, and they're ready to go. Pretty cool, huh? And of course, if I come down here to the shared files, it'll say this is the only shared file I have. But of course, if you come up and actually select the particular file, see materials for science fair is not shared. I can share it. I can download it. Procedures, but notice the little almost like RSS feed look thing, like sharing. That tells you that that is one of those shared files that we can click here and see rather quickly. All again, it's a basic file system. You guys are going to do really great in getting that set up. Next, though, very, very cool thing, save this for last, and that is the ability to find that iPhone that you have. Now, the fun really starts here. when we come over here to Find My iPhone. Now, in order to be able to do this, you are going to have to go first to the account settings. And in the account settings, you will be able to make the changes necessary. Now, anytime you try to do anything settings-wise, they will always ask you for your password again. So, you just have to, put that in, and boom, now you're set up and ready to go. And now you're on the settings. And so they'll show you your subscription will start officially on April 5th. That'll be the 60 days. We're in a free trial, how much data transfer you have, 200 gigabytes per month, things like that. So that's all set. Now down here, you're going to find something where it says Find My iPhone. Now when you click on this, it's going to load this little program that allows you to do some really cool stuff. Now the first one, and understand, by the way, you have the ability to do this for up to 5 of your iPhones. Now to do this, you will need to basically have to have this set up on an iPhone running iPhone OS 3.0 with push enabled. So you would have to register this particular the phone that you have, and so you would do it right here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to log out of Mr. CBT Nuggets, and I'm actually going to log back into my personal one, which I have set up for my iPhone, and I'll show you exactly how this works. So I'm going to pause for just a second and be right back. So now I have logged into my personal MobileMe account here, which actually has my Chris Ward CCM iPhone registered. And the neat thing is that it uses the GPS tracking features to show exactly where I am at my office here on Sunset Drive in the secret bunker. And it tells you where is the location as of a certain time, and then it will go in and it will update it as necessary. So if you keep updating it and you know where it is moving, I mean, this is scary. Now again, you have to turn this capability on in your iPhone, and then also here, and make sure that it has the push capabilities out. Now that's beyond the scope of this particular CBT Nugget, but is a very simple process, and if you go to apple.com and even down here, it'll tell you exactly how to do it. Now right now I have one phone, and notice I can turn on another one here, and so you can do that, and you can keep continuing to turn this on. Now one of the neat things that you can do here, as I'll scroll down, is you can display a message or play a sound. So sometimes, like let's say you leave it in a taxi and you're on your way out, or one of your salespeople has their iPhone, they leave it. Well, you can go ahead and you can display a message or play a sound on your iPhone, even if it's in silent mode, even if you have the little trigger off. You can also remote passcode lock it using a 4-digit passcode. This is especially important if you have names and numbers and things on there that are just very private. You can do that. Now, if the person never returns it, believe it or not, you can go over here and do remote wipe, which will delete all media and data on your iPhone. And so, but once you do that, you'll no longer be able to display messages saying, hey, please give me my phone back, or even locate it, because it won't have the GPS. However, this is a way for you to make sure that nobody gets any data or things off your phone that you don't want. And then, of course, you just scroll over here and click remote lock, remote wipe, or display a message. Now, I'm going to demonstrate this, because this is kind of fun, and I've actually got my iPhone here. I'm going to go ahead and say I want to display a message. So I click on display message, and you go up here, and let's write our message on here. We'll say, let's delete this and say, hello, CBT Nuggets. Please give me my phone back. And so it'll do that. And now the nice thing about playing a sound for 2 minutes is you might have lost it, and you might think it's around your house. Well, if you send this for 2 minutes, you can kind of walk around, and all of a sudden you'll be like, hey, I hear that noise. It must be here around the house. So that's kind of one way to do it. Now, I'm not going to turn this on because I don't want to have to play a sound for 2 minutes on my iPhone here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click send. As soon as I do that, it says your message was sent at this particular time on this particular date, and believe it or not, right now, even as I speak, my iPhone has just turned on. Now, I'm going to go ahead and prove it to you. And there's no tricks going on here. Here I am in my office here, all set up, and let me adjust this just a little bit. And you can see me right here. And I am going to show you my phone. Now hopefully it'll stick on there just a little bit. Oh, didn't do it there. Turn on. And you'll see that it says, I'm always backwards on this. It says, hello CBT Nuggets. Please give me my phone back. You can kind of see that right there. An important message, and it shows up on my iPhone right there. And so I'd be able to track it down just by placing that into my iPhone. So I'll go ahead and turn off my camera here, but that just demonstrates one of the nifty little features that is now made available to you when you're using the MobileMe subscription service. So much information in a nice short amount of time. That's the beauty of CBT Nuggets, as we kicked it off by looking at how we get started with a subscription to MobileMe, and how, for a business you can get a family pack for 5 users at $99 for 20 gigabytes. Now, of course, they have to share the space, and we talked about some of the browser limitations, but hey, if we're able to move through that, this can be a very inexpensive way to get started with cloud computing. We took a look at some of the features, mail, iDisk, and how we can even find those iPhones. Hey, up to 5 iPhones per MobileMe Family Pack account. That's pretty cool. And then, of course, there is iWeb and iCalendar, how we can build our own little website if we need to, and even keep track of events and things that are going on and share it throughout our group. I hope you enjoyed the training today, and I'd like to thank you for joining us.